Welcome everyone to the Break Knyte podcast, where we talk about being creative and all things that inspire us to be creative. I am your host, Craven and Sean, professional wrestler and overachiever in all things that is making stuff out of other stuff. And with me, as per usual, is my guy, the dude over here in front of me. Tell them who you are.
I am the man with the master plan. I am one of the co-founders of Amberland Studios. My name is Sean Iredale, also known as the Craven Buddy, Mr. Buddy, Super Buddy, Buddy old pal man.
Press it.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot to be your buddy. Yeah, man. Welcome back. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
We decided that there's been enough that's happened in our lives to where we can probably tell you about them, because we know all 12 of you are going to love it.
Oh, yeah.
All of you. And, so we got plenty of creative to talk about, and we're coming hot off the heels of Marvel Infinity War, so we're going to have some information for you there.
Yep.
Also, we can talk about more toy stuff, which I have acquired a couple of things, and we're really looking forward to the future of some of these things, thanks to Infinity War. And we'll also wrap it up with the wrestling wrap-up, and we can talk about the Greatest Royal Rumble, which we both decided
We can slide into the
We
Greatest
can
Royal
slide
Rumble.
into your DMs by talking about the Greatest Royal Rumble. But first, we're going to talk about the creative side. So, Craven, you're up. What you been doing, man?
Well, I've been doing a lot with the move and all the stuff been going on in my life. I haven't been able to really do any recording of any videos or doing a podcast, obviously, since it's been a while. But now everything's a little bit more situated at home. I was able to manage my space, start working on stuff, started working on commissions. I've been very busy with the commission work as business has kind of been booming. Huge life change to where I'm not working a regular job anymore.
Yeah.
As I just up. Right.
You are the job now. You're
Yeah.
working for yourself. You are now officially in business for Craven Knyte Studios. Is that what it's called? Or
Sure, why not?
Break Knyte Creative.
Making Knighties.
Making Knight Breaking Knighties.
Yeah. Craven Knight Knighties. But no,
If you came out in a Snuggie.
I have one.
Oh, that's great.
I have a Batman Snuggie.
Oh, God.
It'll be so easy to make.
Moving forward, trying to keep this friendship.
But no, I been getting a lot of commission work, having to restructure how I organize and keep track of everything. And sadly, some people tend to slip through the cracks because some things I don't always see notifications on. So a lot of people I got to get back to. But for the most part, I keep track of majority of the stuff I've been getting in. But a lot of fun stuff that's standing out. I'm not going to go on. There's too much been going on, so I'm only going to name just a couple things.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like the one thing that really stands out for me was making that vest that I did. The one that I straight up bought from Hot Topic, which Hot Topic liked and commented on. The Hot Topic,
word? I did not know that.
The Hot Topic from the Mall of America, because they have their own Instagram, whatever. So I figured it's it'd be cool to show them, because that night that I bought that vest from Hot Topic, which I think is probably the same vest that every other wrestler out there in the independents,
probably,
including Ricochet and NXT, has that fucking vest.
Good job.
But I saw it and I was like, my girlfriend had the $15 off, and I was like, this thing is $40, but it's $15 off, $35, $30, whatever. Fuck it. I can spend this
just
money.
do it.
I've spent more on stuff for me to destroy and make into my own thing.
Yeah.
But no, I got that. I got the vest that night. Did something similar to what I did with yours, with cutting that pocket flips off so I can put my name on it and whatever. Mm-hmm. And I knew I just wanted to keep it the denim blue. It had the removable hood, and I stitched the hood on the outside of the flap of the collar.
Oh, word.
So instead of it being on the inside, number one, makes it way different than anyone else's. But number two, when the hood is down, the collar is still up.
Yeah, cool.
Which I love fucking collars. And then put Craven Knight on one side, put the Extreme Assassin CK on the other. Made my own little. This is another thing I made with because doing a little bit of design stuff within the program for my Final Cutter. Made my own Fox engine logo.
I saw that. That was awesome.
Which is which is kind of like a crapshoot. Which just kind of makes me realize, man, it makes me feel like I can do anything. as long as it's within this program. But because like I just kind of thought it's a cool logo, but it's like, I have a lion on my freaking shoulder, and I'm a Leo, so why the fuck not? So I
think it's smart.
Yeah, so I found like this image that actually inspired. It was one of the images that inspired my tattoo, and I was able to work that in to that Fox engine logo.
Yeah,
if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, the Fox engine logo is just a cool kind of lightning strike image that looks like a fox, which is from Metal Gear Solid. Huge Metal Gear Solid fan, so I figured it would be cool to have my own little amalgamation of that type of design and work it into my gear somehow, which I ended up doing, because it's just, if I get bored, I just spend 2 hours and just make gear for myself. And so I made that little lion one, so I have my own. And but also I threw that on there, and then did the Rumbler from the Bronx, which is another thing I kind of worked up over the last couple of months, which I think is a really cool little moniker. Especially, being a dude from New York that's in the Midwest, it just kind of works for me. Instead of being a dude from New York, just another wrestler in New York going Rumbler from the Bronx, like, yeah, so is half the other people in the freaking the card. So it's like, yeah, it kind of makes you stand out a little bit. They even have shirts to sell for that too.
I think it's great. That's awesome.
Yeah, and funny enough, I've come with so many other monikers to kind of go by that I just kind of want to throw on my gear. Like, I love the idea of putting on my knee pad "pay" and on a kick pad saying "attention." And
nice.
Putting like "pay attention," because in my head I kind of go off, "I am the best you've never heard of."
Nice.
Pretty
I
much.
like that.
So it's like, because no one knows who the fuck I am, but I'm one of the best people in the fucking wrestling ring. I'm confident enough to say that. But anyway.
I honest to God believe that.
Yeah.
Also, if on the other side, could you also put "pay your dues"?
You could.
That would be really good.
Yeah.
Or, commissions available.
Just keep advertising.
Yeah.
That's what I keep thinking. Like, I keep coming up with ideas for gear that like is just straight up advertisements for my shit or other people's shit. And
great. But yeah, no, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and funny enough, like, and this was an idea that I came up with over the weekend, which just shows me that I'm not as creative as I really want to be. That I think I am, or I'm not as unique, because like I came up with an idea. It's like, oh yeah, like it'd be cool to just put on a shirt "extra talented" and just put like a wrestling ring with a silhouette of Brock Lesnar lifting up a silhouette of just a regular stick figure guy, because extra talented, extra talent,
nice.
WWE and all that stuff.
I'd rather it just be Kali hitting stick figures.
I could, but I like the idea of just like, you think of like someone getting the shit beaten out of him, or just a regular,
right.
You think of Brock Lesnar, but I was just mainly just trying to find a silhouette of a big guy just gorilla pressing someone over their head, and that person is just the most generic figure, which is the figure you see when you go to any bathroom at any public place.
Yeah, I think you don't even need a Brock Lesnar. I think you just need a character that's really, really veiny.
Yeah. But it's only going to be a silhouette, so I just need a muscly silhouette. But then with
a Bane mask.
Huh? With a Bane mask.
That would be cool.
And then I end up Googling extra talented, and it turns out it's a tag team. So, fuck that. And funny enough, I found the font, I worked the design, I was just like looking for like a wrestling ring silhouette, or just an image and stuff. Yeah. So I was like, I'm pretty much like 75% there being done with it.
Sweet.
And then I don't even remember what made me do it, but I just like Googled extra talented, and then this tag team comes up, and they have a YouTube channel. I'm like, delete.
Yeah.
So it's because last thing I need is making a shirt that says extra talented on it, and it looks cool. It's like, it's a tag team, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, no, I didn't, but now I do. So
I mean,
fuck it.
you never. I mean, some things are subject to copyright. Some things are too general.
Yeah,
so.
But for me, like, I'm the type of person that, like, if I wear a cool fucking shirt with Vegeta on it to a public school, and then I see someone else wearing that shirt, I'm never wearing that shirt again.
I low key think you should just put extra talent on it and just be a straight, honest to God, like,
you just wear it anytime I'm actually at WWE.
Yeah, I think it would be great.
That was my
extra talent. Just do it.
And then
they
like
walk around and they go, ha, you selling those? Like, fuck, dude. I don't know.
No, that was like my idea originally. It was just like, have a shirt that just says extra talented, and then if I come
on
to
the
WWE,
back, please put here for catering.
Oh my God!
Please, God.
Okay, we might have rejuvenated this idea for extra talented. So much so, I'm gonna write it down.
Yes, dude. Extra talent here for the catering. Dude, Everybody's gonna take pictures with you backstage.
Oh, God.
Everybody's gonna love it. Yeah. Thumbs to the back, you know what I mean? And then underneath here for the catering, you just put like a fucking one of those buffet pans, like a cartoon one. Like, oh God.
Yeah.
God, we're so fucking
anyone
smart.
with a vinyl cutter and a heat press who's listening to this is stealing that idea so hard. But no, I love that. That's the thing.
So you mean you.
Yes.
Right?
That's the thing. Like, with the shirts I've been doing, I've scrapped the idea of, like, just doing... I scrapped the idea of doing anything in the back of the shirt so much that it's never even a thought on my mind.
Dude.
Just because, like, I know it's a thing. It's like, I should put something in the back, but I don't really want to.
Yeah, I get that.
It's extra work. It's extra vinyl, and do I really want to... It's like, if I were to make a bunch of shirts for myself to sell, that's just so much more materials I have to use, and I'm trying to go with the least amount possible. So, like, the shirt's still cool, but, trying to make sure everything balances out for me in a way to where I make more money. So,
right.
But no, like, yeah, I love that idea, and I'll probably may consider that. I definitely will do that if I get called to do.
I think you should just have it ready. Yeah. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that now.
And I have to be, because usually those arenas are cold, so I would have to do it on a hoodie.
Oh, that would be so good. Yeah. So good.
Because they frown upon wrestlers just kind of showing their muscles, just walking around, or extra talent.
Oh yeah.
Extra talented individuals walking around
because they're flexing. Yeah, I get that.
But no, but that's about it for me.
Okay, so kind of piggybacking off of your side, you decided to mention me in a couple of comments for Wrestling Gear and Images, and I got a couple of inquiries for it. Already done designing a guy's specific outfit that he wanted Green Arrow style, but also his style. Shout out to him, because, man, he's got some really...
He said it was an actual archer, too.
Yeah. It's a fantastic concept. He knew exactly what he wanted, played off of him just a couple of times, and it worked out famously. So it was really great. I'm not going to drop any names till the gear is made, but definitely going to shout them out when it happens. I just... It was awesome. It was kind of a refresher. Also got a local guy who asked for a cartoon image of himself that he could use as like a logo / shirt. So I'll probably be working on that real soon.
I think I know who.
Yeah, you do.
Clients are confidential for the most part.
For now.
I don't care what name is on the gear. The information is confidential.
Yeah, we're trying to be anyway. So there's that, and then also. From that tag, I also finally came out and said that I'm doing commissions for the 2D fighting game character portrait or character image of yourself. So what I do is, if you guys haven't listened before, this is a passion project I've been doing for a long time, and I'm starting to get pretty efficient at it. What I do is I charge, $50 per character. And what I do is I just make an 8x8 or an 8x10 image of yourself, whoever you are, as a 2D fighting game character sprite, essentially. It's not pixel art. It's actually straight up hand-drawn. But, I work with a limited color palette and try to use dynamic poses and honest silhouettes, so that when you see it, your character looks like you chose them right out of a fighting game. And I've already passed the quota, or almost there, actually. I got a couple more people to do before I can actually make my character select screen. So that'll be coming up a lot sooner than I expected, actually. So I'll be able to illustrate the stage, the character select, and I'll be able to do not the stage, but the stage select. Stages are like phase 3, you know, but I'll actually be able to do the portraits and stuff. So
you're releasing stages like 10 years from now, just like Marvel.
Yeah. I'm gonna self DLCs. But I'm starting off with these $50 characters, and then if you guys want to be selected, like a selected character, you'd have to pay a little bit extra. But then I'll get the portrait or profile shot of when you get chosen to fight either your friend or whoever is on the roster, and then I'll be making printouts and digital files for just that in case anybody wants them. So there's that. I got that coming up, and that's taking up a lot of time, actually. So it's a lot of fun to do because I'm trying to be efficient at it. It's a specific style that I like. I know it's not completely original. I know people have done this before, but it's original in the sense that, they're friends, they're people I know, they're yourself. Mm-hmm. So, you can get this interpretation of yourself. So I'm having a lot of fun doing it. I always like to design costumes and characters and stuff like that. And really, it's amazing because I choose my friends and people that have the most character by nature, and it just flows so well, so easy. My buddy Kevin from Wrecking Crew Training, shout outs to them, who writes my workout programs and such. He is, like 6, I think he's 6'5", 6'6", 290. Guy has a perfect beard and mustache, wears kilts, lifts weights, and has tattoos of like bunch of engine shit on his legs, for an example. Like, that is a gimmick. It's so easy to convey that.
How can you not want to make that into art?
Exactly.
He is walking art.
There is a fighting game group that I'm a part of on Facebook, and those guys are the shit, the SFP. And I shared the collage image of everybody that I've done so far, or 8 characters that I've done so far, and I've gotten a lot of love and respect and a lot of inquiries from it. And I even get a couple of guys saying, it's funny because when I posted it, people are giving they're like, oh wow, that's amazing, that's awesome, hey, could you do me, yada 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 yada. I think it got like 200 reactions and like 50 comments or whatever. But it's funny seeing people react to the image, because then they say, oh, this girl looks like a nightmare to be around. And then I got a lot of people who are just like, or like 3 people. Not a lot, but
there is a lot.
I think it's a lot. I think it's a lot. That was like, oh, the guy in the tights look cool. Yeah. He's like, I play that guy. So they're talking about you.
Yeah.
So you got people that would actually play your character. I thought that was pretty great.
So they would pick me in underwear and I'm bald and
and it was really fun. The guy in the Speedo's really cool. I'm just like, you should see him work. Like, I don't know how to.
You should attach my fucking compilation video. And I highlight a headlock.
I should. Yeah, you got that.
Of course.
That whole video, I'm watching it. I'm like, wait, is this a headlock you just highlighted? This is hilarious.
Are you talking about the slow motion one?
You're just like, yeah. I'm like, dude, leave it to fucking you. Drop down, leapfrog, top rope, crisp kicks. Headlock.
It's all to go with the tone of the music. I have no reason for why I place everything.
But it's still funny.
It's funny, yeah.
You said highlight and headlock.
I said compilation.
Yeah, that's true.
Everyone else calls it a highlight.
I say highlight.
I call it a compilation of stuff.
I think you should just do a highlight of headlocks. That's it.
Because my point from start to finish was like...
Yeah. Got their money, brother.
Pretty much like a big compilation of Randy Orton headlines. Of what he's the most known for.
We just need to Photoshop your face on him.
Jesus. No, that was my whole idea, because like, for those who don't know, I made a compilation video, mainly because I was asked by a fellow worker to kind of either provide some stuff, because he was going to do it, but he has some issues with it. So I said, you know what, I'll just throw it together myself. Just pick the song, and because I used to do that a lot. I used to just download my matches, and I'll just make a music video to a match.
I mean, that's what a lot of guys used to do and still do.
Yeah, and it's just fun to do, like, when you see certain, like, movements correlate with, like, the music and just kind of go well with that. And I loved certain things going with it.
It's a trailer. Yeah. It's a trailer for yourself. It's awesome.
So I just picked, like, a bunch, especially with, a lot of places releasing the stuff on YouTube so quickly. And the thing that I used was able to download the videos in such a small form, or...
like a small file.
Yeah, small file. So I wasn't taking up a lot of space having like 10 videos or 8 videos or whatever.
That's nice.
So I was able to kind of put together. My thought process was like, okay, the beginning I want to make the video similar to like a match, the story of a match.
Yeah.
So the beginning is going to be kind of like starting off the match where you see some of the typical stuff you see in the beginning and the middle stuff. And I got to definitely show me selling some stuff. That's where like the slow portion where it's a different color, hue or whatever. And then everything's a little bit slower is me just taking a bunch of shit. Yeah, and then towards the end, you see pretty much a mix of everything everything, but a bunch of the really cool moves that I do, and then the overall finish, which I thought was one of the cooler looking finishes that I'd done with Brandon Gore when I straight up kick him in the face. And it was just like it looked awesome. Which I'm still just kind of like, I struggle with fucking wrestling, trying to figure out like finishing moves, and I have finishing move that I made up, but just like, I kind of want to do something different that's a cool strike, but I guess I should probably stick with it, which is the Nightfall one, where it's like rock bottom angle slam gimmick. That it looks cool, but I'm just like, I always wonder if like, should I just stick with it as a transition? Should I stick with it as a finisher? And
it's hard because different circumstances call for different finishes.
Yeah, like certain people make me question it because like if I'm wrestling some of the new guys, I can do whatever the fuck I want. But if I wrestle someone nothing against Ryan Cruz, I love Ryan Cruz to death, but he does his kick.
So you don't want to rip the gimmick.
Yeah, the thing is like, generally like my kick is very different than his, but then again it's still a kick. So I understand his argument on there. It's just I just love my kick so much. I just have a nostalgic attachment to that kick because like I've been doing that kick ever since I was a kid, but like it's more to the side of the head or whatever, and it's on a downed opponent versus someone standing, and it's not like the Trouble in Paradise motion. So it's it's very different, at least in my eyes. But anyone else, it's the same shit. But
I mean, I think in a perfect world, to me, I think you should always have two.
Yeah.
One you can do to everybody, and one that's a little bit more flashy. Mm-hmm. Sure, you can combine them both. That way you can have two flashy ones. But like a strike finish, you can do to anybody. Mm-hmm. I am a huge fan of strike finishes. Yeah. But I'm an even bigger fan of innovative slam finishes. Yeah. So as long as you got a slam finish and a strike finish, I think that's how you...
Because I have that, the Nightfall one, and I'm sure you've seen it, is the, something that I completely made up when I was a teenager using action figures. And, like, I love that.
And your human body can do it.
Yeah.
Funny.
Number one, it's
funny. I could never do my backflipping jackknife powerbomb. But your dumb body, I guess, can do that
because
shit.
it's a simple move that in reality, a guy is just taking a rock bottom. Yeah. And it's simple. I've had people completely fuck up that move when it's like you're just taking a short choke slam. That's it. But like it's really you just the flashiness is all in my motion and in the cell on both parts. Yeah. And that's what makes it look good. Like my favorite one that is, especially in that compilation video, you see it from a distance. One for the MIW. It's an MIW clip of me and Arya Davari where I catch him from jumping from the second row.
I saw that.
And like he does it and he sells it perfectly because because him and I are always perfectly in sync, and I do it and I hit him with it and we both just kind of move perfect and bounce.
Probably bounce at the same time.
We bounce at the exact same time. He sells it perfectly, and it's just like it just really that one clip really identifies exactly what I want that movie to be.
Yep.
So and I like the strike kicks. I like the tornado kick just because it's more of a homage to Jason the Red Ranger from the Power Rangers. That's why I do the tornado kick.
I'm about
that. But like with Ryan, I end up just doing like the running Kenta knee strike or Daniel Bryan's yes knee or whatever he calls it. So, but moving on.
I mean, that's pretty much all I got. Yeah, is just doing piggybacking a little design stuff and then doing the character portraits and stuff.
Yeah, I'm always happy to try and because I know. Probably not every... I know definitely a lot of wrestlers, they're seeing my stuff. A lot of people are seeing my stuff with all the wrestling gear. Definitely would appreciate an artist that can put stuff together. There's just not a lot of wrestlers realize that they need to get an artist to do stuff. Because not all gear makers, like me, are... granted, I'm an artist, and I can do design work. I just don't want to do design work.
Yeah, well, you do pretty well for yourself, but there comes a time where, you got to split some of the work up.
Yeah. And it's I rather it's like that's your specialty and that's something you enjoy doing. I enjoy doing it for me because my stuff is very simple, very simple. Yeah.
It's trying to get to know other people is hard work.
It's I get that. Because I hate the idea of just coming up with a design and then they say well, can you do it this way and blah, blah, and do the alterations to the image. It's like because you have your digital format to doing it, which
that's the big one. I would not do this shit if I had to keep hand drawing the designs.
Yeah, and that's me. It's like I've tried messing around with design stuff just using the program that I use for the vinyl cutter, and just like, oh, let me just try doing it on here. And it was a nightmare for me to just do it on the computer. But, granted, using a mouse on a fucking, keyboard is totally different than trying to use an actual stylus on a,
on a pad.
On a pad that's, that's digital and all that.
For sure.
But, like, I prefer pencil and paper when it comes to things. Like,
because, it's just when you create, and it's the baseline of creating, right? Like your mind tells your hand what to do.
Yeah.
And then, it's a lot more hands-on, and it all happens right away. So I understand completely.
All right.
So moving on to the entertainment portion of our podcast. I would like to talk about Infinity War especially, but you said you saw A Quiet Place.
A Quiet Place.
What's your review on that? What's your take?
I thought the movie was awesome. I really have no complaints about the movie. I thought it was really good, especially as a horror film. And me, I'm not a huge horror film guy. I don't really like horror films. Like, some horror films are very predictable, and just like you go in knowing exactly what you're gonna get.
Yeah, and I think the genre's so damn dull nowadays anyway.
So it's like a lot of people, especially a good director or a good writer, especially, really has to work hard to come up with something unique, something like very different that stands out from like the rest of other stuff. And that's why I thought Quiet Place was very different, as like pretty much the premise of the movie is like you don't really know how or why the stuff happened. So it's very much like Dawn of the Dead, and where you don't know where the fuck all this, like where it all began. You just have like little pieces of newspaper kind of lingering around saying that you have to be quiet, you have to like don't make a sound, blah blah blah, like get underground, and really kind of get that from the trailers and stuff on what's going on, and so it's just very quiet, so it makes it tough to kind of make any noise or eat or drink or anything while watching it.
That's what I heard, is that when you see that movie, you have to really, like, don't get candy, don't talk,
don't open up a bag of chips,
don't fart.
Can't do anything. Like, I'm like scarfing down fucking popcorn, and I'm just like like trying to eat it really slow, and because me, I just fucking love popcorn. I love that Cub has big bags of popcorn now for like $3.
Do they?
Yeah, just regular and different flavors of popcorn. But I'm a slut for fucking regular popcorn.
Oh, yeah, you are.
And like not salted, not buttered or anything. Like I can tolerate just regular popcorn.
That's so weird though.
Yeah,
not salted.
Yeah, and I can tolerate the salt, but sometimes it can be too much, especially if you get towards the bottom. But but now it's like you can spend $3 at Cub getting this big giant bag of popcorn that will last you the entire week, and then fill up a Ziploc bag, which is what I did to go to Infinity. I posted a picture. It's like, I have my Ziploc bag full of popcorn. I just transferred a bunch, told Erica to bring her biggest purse, and
that's what women are there for.
Exactly, for the
big purses.
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
Women's evolution.
Women's evolution.
But
revolution.
Yeah, that one. And bring the popcorn and just scarfing it down and finishing it through Infinity War and whatever. But but no, I just love popcorn during movies, so I've really had to keep it quiet. No pun intended. But no, like throughout the movie, and really, it kind of pulls no punches in a way that the same way that fucking It did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just without,
which I don't want to spoil. I'm not gonna we're gonna spoil Avengers, but I'm not gonna spoil Quiet Place because I know that's not a movie.
Yeah, guys, we're gonna spoil the fuck out of Avengers.
I'm not gonna spoil A Quiet Place, but it grabs you in the beginning. Not necessarily in like the first 30 seconds, like It, but like it'll grab you in the first few minutes. And
that's good.
Yeah, so it's definitely worth the time, and it's like it pulls at your heart through a certain points, and like it kind of makes you feel like no one's safe. Too.
I love it.
So it's a very awesome movie that's very worth seeing. Definitely VOD which will probably be on VOD sometime soon. But like definitely worth renting for sure if you're not if you don't want to go to the movies specifically, spend like $50 for one ticket.
That reminds me, we have to watch Batman Ninja because that's available on digital.
Is it?
And I think I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Gotta see that.
So
I want the toys so bad.
Oh my god, they look so dope.
Yeah.
Moving on. The big gun. Avengers Infinity War. This movie has been pretty much 10 years in the making.
Dun, 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 dun. I fucking love that score so much.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So, movie's been pretty much 10 years in the making.
Yes, it tells you.
Yeah, right away.
Marvel Studios
off the bat.
tells you 10 years. Like, oh yeah.
So, spoiler alert, everyone.
Spoils, yeah. Because if you love this movie and for some reason you listen to this podcast, you've seen it.
Yeah,
probably twice.
Yeah.
I wish I saw it twice.
I'm trying to see it again, actually.
Yeah.
Like, however I can.
Yeah.
So yeah, holy shit.
Yeah.
All right, let's. First off, I'm going to talk about my favorite part of the movie, or my favorite character in the movie, Thanos, because this movie shouldn't be called Avengers Infinity War. It should be Thanos.
Our Lord and Savior.
Yeah, Thanos, our Lord and Savior. Now, I posted an ominous post on my Facebook after I saw the film, where I just posted Thanos equals Rao. Now,
I don't really know what that means.
Those of you who know me know that I'm a huge Fist of the North Star fan. And the anime Fist of the North Star, Rao draws a lot of similar parallels as Thanos does. Now, I know Thanos had far different motivations in the book. Well, though they were generally kind of the same. Death was his mistress, and he did things to appease death. Now, that isn't a thing in this film.
Mm-hmm.
It's about Thanos' strength of ambition and how strong his willpower was to get his goal done, which is balance the universe, because he feels like it's unbalanced.
Yeah.
Now, Rao in the Fist of the North Star is you could say the main villain, but I mean essentially he is. But you feel for Rao as the story goes on because you realize how passionate and compassionate he is at the same time. Rao's costume in the final arc of the Fist of the North Star story, Hokuto no Ken, is very similar to Thanos's, and that's also what made me kind of tickle and laugh. There's a point where Gamora sacrifices herself. Mm-hmm. He needs a soul for a soul in order to get the stone. In Fist, Rao has to conquer fear in order to become strong enough to fight Kenshiro. Because Rao is treating Kenshiro like the final boss, even though Rao is the final boss to Kenshiro. Mm-hmm. So Rao knows love and loss by abducting and threatening Yuria's life, which is the love interest of Kenshiro. And Rao has to conquer the one thing he's afraid of in order to get to the next level, and that was kill the thing he feared the most, which was this big dude named Fudo. But the funny thing is that he had to sacrifice Yuria just to get to his ambition, his goal. Now, Rao's goal wasn't to kill half the universe, it was to conquer the world. Mm-hmm. Close enough. But their inflection, the way they carry themselves, are very similar. Now, that was a little nerd rant. I apologize for everybody at home.
That's fine. I think that type of education definitely can open people's up. Especially if they're curious.
Yeah,
check out Fist of the
because Fist of the North Star is an old story.
Mm-hmm. I remember my cousin watching that. My older cousin, like he's the one that kind of got me into anime a little bit. If anything, he's the one that got me into Dragon Ball Z for the most part.
Which I understand because I feel like all of those are progressions. Like when fighting in manime was manly. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Thanos was definitely my favorite part. I'm gonna bounce back off to you, Craven, because I could go all day.
Oh yeah.
So what did you think?
I loved it. I loved Thanos. I loved the I loved how balanced this movie was, especially with the overall goal of Thanos is to balance things. This movie is extremely well balanced. Like some people can say that they weren't happy with the fact that Captain America wasn't really didn't have that much screen time. Black Widow didn't have this much screen time. It's like they didn't need to have that much screen time. The time that they were spent on screen was to set they set it up to where yeah, you need Captain America, you need Black Widow, and even Sam too, but he's just part of their group. But like they show up because they show up and they show how skilled they are as fighters. Like Black Widow, and even I forget her name. One of the Okoye. Okoye are the most skilled like women fighters, most skilled fighters in all of the Marvel universe. Because so much so that Black Widow, who has no powers, can hold her own against an alien.
Was still bossing them too.
Yeah,
like they
was still whooping ass against these aliens who are giving hurt Vision and couldn't really, and even Scarlet Witch couldn't really hold up. Now I get they were caught off guard and a little bit more vulnerable, so it's a little bit of a different story. But just seeing that, just how strong Black Widow was, and how awesome like even Cap was, even the little bit that he was on the movies, like you didn't need him because like there's room for that in the next movie. You got to understand this is a part one.
But man, like. Okay, let's talk. Okay, first of all, I'm gonna talk Cap real quick because like that, you fucking like that. So I'm sorry, ladies.
I think I saw that but from a different view.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just sent him a meme that has to do with Infinity War, where Brie Bella is standing up. And, Nikki. It's Nikki, right?
It's Nikki Bella.
Nikki Bella's standing up, and John Cena's on one knee proposing to her, and John Cena's fading away into dust. Thanks, Thanos.
I want to see that. It's so much. I don't think that would get old for me.
You the best.
Have like 3 of those pop up a week.
Oh, God. Dude, it's going to be wildfire, and I love it already. The FGC community's already done it with like the picture of Marvel vs. Capcom floating in the dust.
Oh, jeez.
All right, but real quick, I'm going to touch on the Cap thing where Cap didn't have to be in the movie a ton. All he just had to show that he was cold as fuck, which he is, because he's the most consistently written character in the MCU. Fight me. I will fuck you up. Yeah. He's better than Black Panther. Fight me.
I think
because he's had more movies.
Well, number one, he's a lot more. What can I say? Engaging, or a lot more. If anything, like you can really relate to him in a lot more.
We grew up with him.
Yeah.
You think like the Man Out of Time gimmick. The first Captain America, the first Avenger, was that right after Iron Man, right?
Yeah, just being like he was literally the an underdog who wanted to be who wants to be the big dog that could defend the world. Yeah. Or defend the yard. And you use wrestling terms. I guess
you see his morals challenged. You see, but to tie in what I was getting at, he is the best fucking fighter in all of the MCU, and it is so well conveyed in every film.
Yes.
And bless the Russos, because they have made my favorite MCU movies, being Winter Soldier. So Winter Soldier being my favorite. Then Civil War being my second favorite. Obviously, well, as far as action is concerned. And it's not I'd say Iron Man's probably my number 2.
Yeah.
The first one. And then, and then this... With Infinity War, like there is no possible way you can argue that the fighting isn't so much better in their films than the other ones. Now, don't get me wrong, it's fine everywhere else, but I just from Infinity War on an action standpoint could not be fucked with. Yo, when he was like, we have a Hulk. And then Hulk came in. Oh my god! And then he dodged every haymaker, started giving him combos, just laid waste to dude, and then gorilla pressed him like he wasn't shit.
Like this was.
Oh, that was so
if anything,
perfect.
This was kind of like this reminded me, especially when you brought it up. I totally forgot about that because it was right smack dab in the beginning of the movie.
Yup.
And so much happened in the movie that it's so easy to forget about what happened in the beginning.
Man, And I loved that part so much. It was so memorable to me because right away you got the scale of power. Mm-hmm. Like right away the scaling of power just made sense.
Like they truly understand like storytelling unlike anyone else. Like establishing Thanos as like a threat who made Hulk bleed. You don't see that. Yeah. You made him bleed. You made him so scared that he will not come out of Banner.
Come out anymore.
He was like, no.
He was
not coming out.
He was so shook, and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It told a really great story.
And just the massacre in the beginning, and then Loki, just like you just kind of saw it coming. If you knew, like you just kind of knew, like you knew people were gonna die in this movie. It was very clear, but like you saw Loki just kind of like. He just wasn't sure what side he was going to be on, which is like, is mischievous. Like, that's what he is. And then he was like trying to help him. He was trying to stab Thanos, and it didn't work out. And then he got killed. And it's just very sad, but it's like you already seen him die like 3 times.
Yeah.
So it's like I only have so many tears to shed for Loki.
Yeah, true.
But no, I love the overall movie and just how much it really tugs at you, because it did exactly what it needed to do, was to really get you so much more emotionally invested in these characters and what was going on and the stakes in this movie, and it's like it really makes you feel at the end, it's like, what the fuck do we do now? Like, because that's how I felt at the end. I told you earlier, it's like once I was done, I saw this in the beginning of the day. If I went, I don't even know if I would have been able to go to bed after this movie, but like usually I see movies at night, but I saw it like 12 in the afternoon, and after trying to go on with the rest of my day, I felt like I did not know how to live with myself.
It was so dope.
Yeah,
I loved it. It just the way I felt. I gave a round of applause at the end of that movie because it's just like my favorite part was the final scene where it was like, yup.
No, it's time to grow some corn.
He's like, yup, I did it. Smile. Credits. Thank you. Because you guys should know from this podcast from before that my biggest problem with Civil War and a lot of these Marvel films is that there are no stakes. Everything is played safe. Mm-hmm. And the payoff was worth it, but I still think more sacrifices should have been made on the lead up to this. There are so many characters that did not need to be around, that should have died in specific instances to add gravity, to add weight to these situations. Because loss is loss. You should feel the pain of loss, especially if you've grown with these characters. But now, that just meant that finally, when there are real casualties, people are ultra shook. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because I think we all knew that death had to come. There's no way in shit that this wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
But man, oh man, was it great.
Yeah. And I love the uncertainty towards the end, and we're hopping all over the place instead of probably going in a specific type of order. But like it's that first moment where you finally see like what, because he snapped his fingers, the gauntlet looked like it was completely destroyed. Yep. And then he left, and he said like you should have went for the head, and he left. And then right after that, you're like, what happened? Like what's going on? And then you see Bucky, and he goes Cap, and he just starts fading away, and you're just like, what? No. Like,
no.
And then you start seeing everyone, and then it hits you half to balance everything out. Thing is, you don't know who. So you're like, who's going to go? Is Cap going to go? It's like, is T'Challa going to go? Is it like, who's all going to go? And like, certain people go, and then the one that just really got me feeling like I don't really have much tears to shed much anymore, but like when I do, it's for silly shit like movies like this, where fucking you see Peter Parker, who's
Spider-Man was hard. Spider-Man was a hard one.
Because like he's really showing you how good this kid is, like fucking what's his name?
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland, showing you how good of an actor he is by truly acting like a scared child who can feel, because like adults, you see everyone else, like they're strong individuals, they're just kind of fading away and they're just kind of like whatever. But him being a child and being able to feel that pain of his body withering away, he can feel it because he's young. He is just different for him. And then he finally withers away and he's like, I don't want to go. And God, that fucking
so sick.
It just tears at you, and it's like one of the worst one to deal with, and then you don't know who's all gonna go.
Right after I saw that, I was like, yeah, Tom Hardy, because we can talk on the Venom trailer.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, that granted that wasn't in any chronological order, but that would only people who are listening. You would only complain if you hadn't seen the film. Otherwise, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, and even like just the back and forth, like the setup with like Tony and Doctor Strange and their little dynamic.
Dude, we had got a quick theory.
Yeah,
we all, I'm pretty sure me and my buddies thought that Pepper was pregnant.
Okay.
Because you said. They wouldn't have brought it up, right?
Yeah.
You know, clothes in your closet. He's like, I've been thinking about a baby. Mm-hmm. And she's like basically saying she wasn't pregnant. But she freaked out when he was on that ship. Mm-hmm. And she broke up when she was like, you have to come back. You have to come back. Mm-hmm. You know, she broke up. But I'm saying, what if the baby died, but not her? Mm. So when you find out that, you know, so she found out she was pregnant, and then she was super excited, but since half the universe had to go, she's no longer with child.
That'd be an interesting route to go.
Savage.
That's very dark.
Savage.
Like, I think that's a little too dark.
I don't know, man. Peter bit the dust, and we grew with him.
Well, that's different. Like, this is literally a freaking fetus inside a woman. Like, that's...
I mean, but you have to show the weight of... This is the universe.
I think that's more than I can see Marvel going. If they do, I'll be extremely surprised, and I'll give you props, and I'll buy you a bag of freaking roasted almonds.
I'll take it.
But like,
sorry, my mouth.
But no,
Nuts.
like, I think
you're
that
right.
might be.
You're right.
Yeah, that might be a little too.
It's
extreme.
pushing it, but I could see it being a thing.
Yeah. But yeah, but just seeing dynamic with Doctor Strange and Tony too, which they got.
They're both pretentious dicks that hate each other.
Yeah, and I always keep seeing like with videos and stuff because now that I saw the movie, I just want to see everyone's opinions on it. Mm-hmm. And
same, I gotta see reaction videos too. Like, I wonder if there will be theater reaction videos or like. You know what I mean?
Like you see usually with scary movies, but it has to do with Infinity War.
Like just the end.
Yeah.
Like I just want to see people's reactions at the end.
Yeah.
Because, oh man.
But yeah, like, but Tony and Doctor Strange, like they're back and forth and stuff. And I keep seeing like how there's no mention of them having the same type of facial hair. But like, but no.
Yeah, that was a thing later on in the books.
Yeah, but them constantly going back and forth, just kind of just kind of like indifferent with each other, but still helping each other out. Mm-hmm. And then like Doctor Strange pretty much clearly stating that I will not help you. Like when it comes to the stone or saving you and the boy, then I will save the stone because I took an oath and blah blah blah. And then it came time because he got to see Infinity War 14 million times.
Yep, and he only saw there was only one way.
There was only one way.
It could end where not,
Yeah. It is hard not to get mad at Peter Quill for fucking instigating that whole situation. For, like, punching Thanos in the face.
No,
I thought that whole plan was genius. Like, because you kind of forget about Wasp and her abilities until she does that.
You mean Mantis?
Mantis, my bad. Mantis and her abilities when she kind of pops up and she's able to slow him down.
I really like that. But honestly, you can pretty much blame all of this on Peter. Mm-hmm. To be absolutely honest, all of it. Yeah. Because the glove was almost off.
Yeah.
Parker had that shit, but then Quill had to be a fucking... I was about to say a bad word.
Yeah.
Had to be ridiculous. And punch him in the face and wake him up. Which was very dumb.
Yeah. What would you say was the first, like, gasp moment that you had throughout the movie? Like, something that just kind of happened that you didn't... Like, not something that just made you go, like, fuck yeah, because we all know that's a fucking fight in the beginning. But something that just made you go, like, oh, shit. Like, something you wouldn't expect. Like, the first thing that comes to mind for me, and this probably wasn't the first thing I gasped at, but the first thing that comes to mind was the minute where they went to the collector's like chambers or whatever, and Thanos is there. And beside, I guess the first one would have to be when Gamora stabs him in the neck and kills him, and we all believe like, oh, that was it. And even Peter says like, that was faster than I thought.
Yeah.
And then after that, you realize because of the reality gem, he can alter reality and just kind of make you see whatever he wants you to see.
Yeah.
And then he comes out, from behind the curtain, and then the freaking collector is fucking clapping there because it's all part of like what he wants them to see. And then, but the one thing after that, and this is the first thing that pops up before anything else, is when he shoots Drax and becomes a bunch of cubes. And I'm thinking, Drax is fucking dead.
Yeah, same. that I'd say probably that, because I knew Thanos wasn't dead.
Yeah.
But when he turned them into like spaghetti and cubes, I was like, oh shit.
He fucking Resident Evil.
Like nobody saw that coming. Like, but then the illusion stone pulled away. That whole thing was really awesome juke.
Yeah.
But the first honest to God gasp moment for me was probably the way he killed Gamora.
Just like tossing her down.
Yeah,
there.
just by the neck, throwing her down the cliff, and then just her body hit, and I was like, yo. Like, my man's is all business today.
Yeah. But just seeing how, like, that did hurt him. Like, she actually meant something to him.
Yeah, like, and man.
And because I even felt exactly how she felt, where, like, he was, because this was another moment, Red Skull. When Red Skull was there and they show who it was, and I was like, holy shit, that's fucking Red Skull. Like, I literally said, oh shit, in the theater. Mm-hmm. And then he's describing what it takes to get the Soul Stone. And then I'm like completely in sync with Gamora, where I'm just like, he can't get it. He doesn't love anything. Mm-hmm. He's pure evil. And then he's showing that, like, he raised Gamora as his favorite warrior, his favorite daughter. Mm-hmm. And, like, he does truly love her, and it does, and that's...
Man, and the whole past thing with the knife and balancing and having perfect that be setup. A metaphor for how he wants the world.
Yeah.
And, like, when you see in the background her people being slaughtered by the Chitauri, mm-hmm. when you can see this side is all the firing squad that killed them, and this side is all lavish and fine, mm-hmm. in the, like, wide pan shot, I was like, y'all motherfuckers get it. I was like, y'all get it.
They set it up. They set it up perfectly, mm-hmm. with doing it that way with the knife and the balancing. It still had it. I felt like the proportions were a little off.
Same. Because when she was a kid... That really
stuck out to me.
Yeah, because when she was a kid, it didn't even seem that big. And then when she had it, as an adult,
it was fucking ginormous. Yeah. But, like, but then just, like, him just kind of showing her the knife and showing her how to use it and how to balance it. Mm-hmm. And then, like, she's curious and wants to look. It's like, nope. And it's like you actually see just kind of like some type of tenderness with him. And I love that kind of, and a lot of people can hate it all they want, and I don't know what people did, but like the character building and the kind of like trying to get an understanding of the, like, what this guy's head, like how his head works, mm-hmm. with all this, where it's like, it's hard not to get, like he feels completely justified in what he's doing, and which is the key to any good villain. Which a lot of movies get wrong, because a lot of people are evil for, like, a lot of villains are evil for evil's sake, where, like, this guy, like, Thanos doesn't believe he's evil. Like, he has his methods, he has his overall goal, and he believes this is the way life is supposed to be. Uh-huh. It's just...
This is the way the universe is supposed to be. There's too many fucking mouths to feed.
Yeah. And it's like, and this is how you balance it out. Mm-hmm. And just at the snap of my fingers, I can get rid of half of them and make everything easy. And I can go on a farm and raise some corn and mourn my daughter. And, like...
The wild shit is when he snapped his finger and he saw young Gamora, mm-hmm. and she asked him, so did you do it? And he said yes, and then all of a sudden he was where he needed to be. So that's another eyebrow raiser to me, as I'm very curious about that.
Yeah. Overall, fantastic movie. I definitely want to see it again. Mm-hmm. It's like, I think immediately when it was done, I didn't feel a love or a hate or disdain or any type of feelings towards this movie, because I was just like so in shock with what I was given, but like. Because it was a lot of emotional weight from it because like you're attached. It's 10 years with these characters. You're attached to all of them, and with the good and the bad movies, but it all led up to this one fantastic movie, which is still well balanced, and what they gave you, and like at the end of the movie, it's like you just don't know what's to come after this. And then we were talking about it earlier. It's like, what do you do after this movie wise? So usually we're getting about like 3 or 4 movies a year, usually. And we have to wait maybe a year for the next one, for the next Infinity, or at least the next Avengers. And then so between now and the next Avengers is Captain Marvel and Ant-Man.
I like how at the end of the credits it said Thanos will return, but
Did
not
the
Avengers will return.
Yeah.
Thanos will return. Because we know that's who you care about.
Because they fucking made you care about him through this movie.
Yeah,
and stuff.
I mean, this movie was his. And his alone.
He was the most screen time was this guy, and he looked awesome. Like
best, and I have to say, man, that this is probably the best character CG I've ever seen. And even Proxima Midnight, like the woman henchman, like especially when they got to Wakanda, I could tell in the beginning, but when they got to Wakanda, it was kind of tough to see if she was real person or not. Yeah, and I know she wasn't.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
which is like a character like that.
Are you a person?
It was like there was no reason. It's like they had a little extra in the budget to make her CG, but really you could have just done a lot of that prosthetics.
I think since all the rest of them were CG,
you might as well.
She might have been too much of a sore thumb. But the CG was so fucking good.
And I think, and watching the movie, I can see why the CG is so good, and it's because another thing with balancing, they know how to balance the hue and the lighting and the color. Yeah. Because like certain elements of
when they were on Titan, it was all red because Titan was all destroyed.
Yeah.
You know.
So you have to utilize like the light shining and the darkness, and just it all has to mesh well, and that's with the animators in this movie. They just knew how to do that. With a lot of these Marvel movies, they know how to do that to balance that correctly. And sometimes it can be a little off. It's a little CG heavy. Like you can definitely tell Spider-Man isn't real. Blah blah blah. But that's the point of like the shininess in the armor. It's the
I get that. There was no way that was gonna really work unless. They constructed the suit and he couldn't be as agile. So
yeah, but yeah, I thought like Thanos just looked freaking amazing. Seeing him with his armor and stuff, and it's like, God, I can't wait for someone to fucking try and commission some gear like that. It's like it's gonna happen. Any cool action movie that's coming out, like someone's going to want like, hey, can you make me a gauntlet that looks like the Infinity Gauntlet? It's like I probably could.
Wrist tape.
Yeah.
Just a little Sharpie. They can do it. They'll be fine.
Yeah, they'll figure it out.
Yellow tape, some Sharpies, bro. You'll do just fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, goddamn.
Yeah, fantastic movie. I can't wait to see it again. Definitely.
I'm gonna try to see that again today.
Yeah.
Cause fuck it. But yeah. Sorry. Coming. This will bleed. Yeah. Over, but I'd like to get to the toy segment of today's podcast. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Commander Rogers Mezco and the Captain America Revoltech that I the amazing Yamaguchi Captain America that I got not too long ago. But I think this would be a good time to segue into the upcoming Thanos SH figure arts and the Thanos hot toy. Now, the Thanos hot toy is expensive and the cost of your life. But, oh man, does it look amazing. And I promise to God those pre-orders are going to sell the fuck out. Now, also, I want to compare to how well done the figure arts Thanos is. It's a very well done figure. The figure looks fantastic. But the rest of that line of figures, other than Iron Man, because that's cheating, because really it's just 3D modeling of a technical suit. It's really bad. The Captain America is awful. Black Widow looks like Black Widow. I guess she's probably the better out of them. The Winter Soldier, the Bucky, is absolute trash, and I can't get over how bad it is. Like, the Doctor Strange is fine. It's just that I feel like SH Figure Arts is losing it when it comes to real people. Some likenesses can work, but I mean, you saw it in the wrestlers. Yeah. Like the WWE, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, and Undertaker, those barely looked like themselves. And the body molds and sculpts were just awkward and strange. It just wasn't worth it. So that translates into these Infinity War figures. So if I do get one, it would probably be the Thanos, but we'll see. We'll see at the end of the day how expensive that. I think it's probably like $100.
Yeah, because they don't have any color washing or shading of any sort.
Yeah.
Or I don't think they ever did.
Well, they did. Oh, they definitely did back then. I mean, because you could tell.
It's just cutting back on costs.
Yep.
And still making it
You could definitely tell, like the Saiyan Armor Vegeta, the first one that came out, had blue shading throughout, and there were washes on it. Like, it was cool. Now, don't get me wrong. It works for anime toys. They can still run that pretty solid, shading or no.
Yeah,
but
because it's a cartoon.
Yeah, but when you start fucking with real people, then it just doesn't work out.
Fucking Captain America looks ridiculous.
It looks ridiculous, but I showed you a picture of the
Bucky.
The Bucky.
Yeah.
Oh man, he looks like crap.
The Spider-Man looks alright.
He looks fine.
Yeah.
I suppose. But there's a new Spider-Man that's coming out. That's the '90s comic version from Mafex, which is the same scale.
Yeah.
And it looks awesome. Yeah. Like it's got the big eyes, 90s eyes like Todd McFarlane, and it has ones that squint a little bit, and he can do all the proper posing, and he has an alternate Peter Parker head that's like perfect, like on point. I was very, very impressed with it. So, I mean, there's going to be some really cool Marvel stuff coming out, but also Mezco showed their 112 Collective Darkseid figure, which is an original design that they have, but it's definitely modeled off the original Jack Kirby design of Darkseid, and he comes with like these fucking metal pauldrons, like these shoulder pads that have like a leather cape that falls, and his eyes light up, and he comes with like fucking Omega Beam effects. That looks really good. So we got some big bads coming out, man. Even they showed Shao Kahn in a lot of promo pics now for his figure through Storm Collectibles, and if any of you know me, you know that that's probably my number one line right now. It doesn't help that I really like playing Street Fighter V a lot, and they're making my mains and the character designs in that game are the shit, so I really like it. And that they're making figures that are 12 scale. I use that loosely in quotes. So there's that. But recently, thanks to the good old 20% off eBay coupon, I've come across I got the better late than never Commander Rogers Mezco, because I was waiting to pull the trigger. I saw him for $40. I wanted to get him, but I was pretty unsure. And then I'd sold some old Marvel Legends, and I'm like, I can justify getting him. So I got him, and the figure's really interesting. I still think Deathstroke is better, but you could tell that the Mezco version of Commander Rogers is still pretty solid. The real clothing works for him just because he was wearing real clothing in the books, and it's pretty close to what he actually wears. The pants sit a little low, which I'm not a huge fan of, but that's probably my second biggest gripe. My first biggest gripe is probably the face sculpt. It's really, really generic. But other than that, all the accessories are there. The details in the gloves are there. All the leather work looks really well done. He comes with a ton of hand accessories and a photon shield that you can see through that sits on his back as a magnet and sits on his arm as a magnet. So that's pretty cool. The posability's there too. I could use an ankle rocker, but, I think they'll get down there eventually. Just right now, none of their figures have them, so you just got to get used to that.
Everyone has such thick boots.
That's right. Yeah, I'm going to bring them over. We'll take a picture of my two guys together, and then we'll use that as the photo for the for the podcast. But yeah, he comes with a combat knife that is sheathed in his back. You can actually roll up the sleeves of his long sleeve shirt. Shield falls off every now and then, but it's not, super annoying because the magnet is strong enough as long as you're not actually a child playing with him. And he can do a vast array of poses, and the hands are really easy to change out too. So, I mean, all in all, I think the figure is actually pretty solid. I wouldn't say it's the best that they made, but I'm a huge fan of this design already, and I loved it when they announced that he was giving up the Cap moniker just to become a commander, and I thought that was really great. So, I'm not mad. And as far as the Revoltech Captain America is insane because it helps me a lot as an artist to get down some viable poses and some really dynamic poses that I couldn't really conjure or figure out until they were like in front of me. So, you can buy the figure arts Bodycoon figures that, give you posing and like you can take pictures of them and help them as reference. But the Captain America Revoltech helps me a lot just because there are cuts in the joint that make it able to move so dynamic that I can get the kind of poses I like out of him, make him a good looking shelf piece, and also, get some art ideas and design ideas out of it too. So the motherfucker was more than worth my money.
Yeah.
Comes with a really cool bullet effects.
It's a work expense.
It's a work expense, exactly. Comes with really cool reflective bullets that you can slip on and off the shield. All the scales are sculpted onto him. The helmet looks a lot like Flash from Justice League, but I ain't complaining because my favorite Captain America design was the Ultimates 2 with the chin strap and the top helmet, which they clearly borrowed from in the movies today.
Yeah.
So, it's the modern take on the character, which I felt was long overdue, and I really, really enjoyed it because he fits well with all the Marvel Legends and Mezcos, but he poses better than all of them put together. So those are my figure reviews. That's my toy shit segment of this podcast. Now, I would like to wrap up with the wrestling wrap up. We're gonna throw our take on this 5-hour show within 5 minutes. So, Craven, what'd you think of the fucking greatest Royal Rumble?
Well, I thought it was exactly what I expected, if anything, when it came to the matches themselves.
Right.
When you see that Triple H and John Cena are going to be on the card and wrestle each other, you kind of think especially from a certain perspective, you kind of think, oh yeah, they're just going to give you just like a house show. This is pretty much just a glorified house show.
It's just the biggest house show ever. Is what it should have been called.
And which I thought, oh yeah, they're just going out there and just calling it in the ring. It's not going to be a lot to it. There's really no build up or anything special about this match other than the fact that it is only a spectacle because it's Triple H and John Cena. It's another opportunity for Triple H to take his shirt off while he's still in good shape.
Yep.
So,
I like where your head's at.
It's like if I was friggin',
if I was as jacked as Triple H was,
I wanted to have my shirt off as much as possible. So, but no, the matches were great. The cruiserweights are always going to put on a clinic. They're always going to work their asses off.
Always.
So that's always a fun watch. Like the cruiserweights are always entertaining to have on a TV, especially if you just love watching wrestling. Mm-hmm. And let's see, what else was there? There was the tag matches were pretty dull.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you think about it, most of the card was kind of dull.
Yeah.
Like, the Rumble was really fun because it was dumb as fuck.
It was very dumb.
Oh my god!
Any Rumble, especially in that fashion, because the Battle Royal can be like, what the hell is happening? But a Rumble is different because obviously
and this is 50 fucking people.
It's 50 people. It's forever. It's what, like almost? I guess
it's the biggest ever because usually it's 30.
Probably about an hour, 20 minutes, maybe. Because
this is a 5-hour show.
Yeah,
and. Oh my god.
And yeah, the Rumble's are always fun because you have the dynamic of people just coming out every 90 seconds or gimmick 90 seconds, whatever it is. And you're not sure who's going to come out next or you're not sure who's even going to take part in it. And
right.
So
and that's a big one too. I mean, I like Rumbles because they are honest to God full of surprises.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you really can't, like, that sumo wrestler that came out, I was like, what the fuck is this? Just a big fat dude tying up with Mark Henry, whom I could have sworn was retired.
Yeah.
So there was that. So lots of cool stuff there.
What'd you think of the Brock and Roman?
Brock and Romance of the Three Kingdoms. He is... The finish in the cage was far better than Mania.
Yeah.
But also, he almost paralyzed himself from the neck down because, oh man,
completely DDT'd himself.
We got shook when we saw that live, man. We were just like, ooh, Yeah. But he started moving, so yeah, the big dog prevails, I guess.
Yeah.
But
the reasoning for the win on that finish was completely out there and ridiculous because
because they were talking about the feet landing.
Yeah.
But nobody's
because you can tell as they're trying to explain it that they're trying really hard, like they're contradicting themselves and they're trying really hard to backpedal on that.
Yep.
And because it's like, you're supposed to get both feet on the ground,
that's the ruling.
But then you have Kofi Kingston who can do handstands and not get eliminated.
Yeah.
So it's like, they messed up there. That was a very risky finish. It was a cool looking finish.
Yeah,
but it was a very risky one because. Yeah, Brock did not touch the mat.
I mean, honest to God, I think they should have just stayed on the fence. Mm-hmm. Because the
not
fence
moved
made
at
it,
all.
Yeah, because the fence made it so neither of their feet hit, and then Brock should have just rolled off. That's it. Instead of just calling it right away.
He should have oversold it. Like, once he landed, should have oversold it and just kind of back rolled.
Yeah, exactly.
And because I think, if anything, Roman moved because he was uncomfortable because he did straight up hit his head.
He landed on his neck.
Yeah, so I imagine that had to be why he moved. Otherwise, he probably would have just stayed there himself. But he did pretty much just DDT himself into like the cage and the mat, and then almost like roll and try to roll over to the side, and did not even think of the moment, considering the physical. The amount of physicality that went into that one little spot, that him rolling over, pretty much he won the match, but he didn't win the match because he wasn't scripted to win the match. It was
so weird.
Yeah.
It was so dumb. And it's for the fucking Universal title. You cannot fuck that shit up.
No.
At least I would have made just make it a pinfall.
Yeah.
He's inside the cage still. Like, he's on the cage. Just pin him.
Yeah.
That could have gone anywhere.
The back and forth in this match just feel a little bit different, as if, like, part of the contract that Brock signed is like, okay, you have to have a little bit more of a back and forth in your matches. At least that's kind of a vibe that I got.
I mean,
but there's a little bit more of a back and forth.
I mean, AJ went back and forth
with
him. I think it really just boils down to who he's working. If they can't work, then the match sucks.
Yeah.
Brock stopped wrestling.
So the type of match that you see with Brock and whoever he's facing is depending on how he feels with the person that he's in there.
Exactly.
Clearly, he does not really feel much for
correct.
Roman.
And Brock stopped wrestling years ago. Mm-hmm. He stopped calling matches. He stopped doing pro wrestling shit years ago. So now he does what he wants. And he'll go if you bring it and it's a big show, he'll bring it. That's what I think. But if you ain't shit to him. Yeah. And they'll just keep it going. Train will keep on chugging.
Yeah. And then we had the Rumble itself. A lot of card wasn't really much to talk about. Like, it really just felt like house show.
The ladder match was safe.
Oh, yeah, ladder match.
The ladder match was safe. Like, it was entertaining.
Like, I was looking forward to it just because of the guys in it, because I like the guys in it.
Exactly. But it just stayed pretty vanilla for the most part. There was some cool shit. Mm-hmm. You got to stomp on it. You got...
On top of that, it was very hot in that arena, too.
Was it?
That's what they were saying. It was like 80 degrees in the arena itself and like over 90 degrees outside. And
my God.
I've seen videos of them like just playing like soccer or like out like in the stadium as everything's getting built, like Brock and fucking Cesaro and whoever.
And they're just dying.
They're just like all hot. Like everyone's kept complaining how hot it was, and I can just see it. Like that was in the back of my mind the entire time. That especially when Triple H and Cena were in there, I'm like thinking like Triple H. I could have swore I saw Triple H mouth. It's hot. It's hot.
Yeah, I believe that.
Because outside shows suck, especially when it's hot.
And I've worked outside before, and it sucks because the canvas absorbs the heat.
Yeah,
so then when you're on the canvas, it becomes hard to breathe.
Yeah.
because you're just sucking wind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it sucks. But yeah,
the Rumble itself, Brian came out first and fucking lasted forever.
Oh my God.
Awesome.
I saw a meme of that dude where they were talking about Passions of the Christ because he looked like he got lashed.
Yes.
So many handprints.
And I was wondering because I saw
under
images.
His arm.
No, I saw that he was lit up and I was like, who did that?
I still don't know who did it.
It was Roderick Strong.
Oh,
he said it. He said
that makes so much sense.
He did a backstage interview. I think I saw it on Instagram, or maybe it was on actually on YouTube. He was talking about how me and Roderick Strong haven't been in the ring together in years, since 2008 or something.
Yeah.
So
I forgot about that. So Roderick would be the guy.
Yeah. So he gave him all those chops. He lit him up, and then you even see under his arm, under his bicep, was completely torn to shit.
Yep.
And he fucking loves every bit of it. And I love him for that.
Yeah, he does. It's great.
Yeah, and he had an amazing showing throughout this match.
He was definitely the highlight.
Oh yeah,
he was definitely the highlight.
Because he lasted the longest. He broke that record that Rey Mysterio had. He was in there for I think an hour and 7 minutes.
Yeah, something.
And then obviously Braun won the match. Which Braun, had a great showing, and I love when
Braun always wins.
I love that, you put him in there with multiple people, he's always gonna run outside the ring and just shuffle and just run somebody over. Yeah. Oh I fucking love that.
That's
so much.
His new thing too, because the Raw before that. When he did it to Kevin Owens,
he did it 3 times.
I was dying, and the seated drop kick is the highest he's got.
Yeah,
he did it on the ground, and he did it to Kevin Owens.
Yes,
too funny.
It's that is a guy that you have to get behind because it's freaking amazing.
Yeah,
especially when he runs, he looks ridiculous, and I swear he knows how ridiculous he looks, and he does it on purpose. Because when he runs, he's it looks cartoony. You just gotta put some silly music behind it. He's like.
He has short legs for being such a big guy.
Yeah.
So it's just really funny.
Yeah. So I think that is a well-deserved win for him. But I feel like they can definitely do more with Ron than just throwing him the silly tag team match with the child. But no, throughout the Rumble,
there's no reason why he shouldn't have that Universal belt by now.
Yeah. Have somebody that's actually there all the time. I get that, Brock is money and his stuff can be money, but I think at this point it's just kind of running tired. It's just kind of running stale for me. So
he still has to serve his suspension from the UFC, which I gathered from the Chael Sonnen interview from Talk is Jericho. And I think his suspension was for a year.
Okay.
So I think he's still got or more. And he's still got 8 months left to serve in that suspension.
Jeez.
So I think he has to wrestle for a little over half a year anyway before he can even fight again.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think that's why he's starting to look a little bit more shitty physically is because he's starting to stop cycling.
Yeah.
But that's my guess. I don't know. I'm no professional athlete,
Yeah.
But that's just my guess. But yeah, that wraps up.
But we didn't bring up the the
most
important thing, the most important highlight of this greatest Royal Rumble
was the entrance of Titus O'Neil, who runs to the ring, and his greased up, oily ass body, he trips on the way down to the ring, and slides under the ring face first after tripping. That you only see the bottom of his boots. He went so far under.
He shuffles right back
out. So that he had to shuffle back out from under the ring just to get back in.
And not only does this happen on accident, this happens off camera for the first time.
Yeah,
they talk about it. They mention it.
The first time you see him, then you see the ring, then they pan back and you see boots under the ring.
Yeah,
and you're like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
So then
Vince loves this so much.
So they make the back of house play a replay of it 3 times. 3 times.
As your commentators, your voices of the WWE are laughing their asses off.
And Michael Cole is losing it. He is laughing so hard. And then post-match, they replay it again. It was the best. And it's great because Michael Cole keeps saying, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Like, he, with hands down, you can tell Michael Cole thought he was never going to have a Shockmaster moment in his career. And lo and behold, he got it.
Now this was mentioned because the RBR Weekly Wrestling Talk Facebook page that I follow is like the one thing I'm on consistently. And one person mentioned, I don't know who it was, that if this was WWE, if they had their LED curtains, he would have died.
Oh,
because they have the solid LED on that side, and it covers completely. So, because it looked like if this was like a regular like indie style ring, if anything, I don't know if they have those rims like halfway down.
Yeah.
But he probably would have caught that.
If that was there, seriously injured.
He would have been really hurt. He got so lucky that there wasn't a lot of stuff there in the first place.
But he was so oily that he went so far under the ring. Man, my guy, dude.
And I think after that, everyone second guessed the whole running to the ring thing.
Yeah. So people just light jog
because you'll slide on his grease or you'll trip just like he did.
Official WWE Instagram posted happy birthday to Titus O'Neil for sliding into our hearts. Everybody has been lighting him up. It's great.
And the thing is, you can't feel bad for him because he completely embraces it.
He
knows that this is his second coming.
Bro, the best part is that I officially know this will be his gimmick for the next year.
Titus World Slide.
Oh, shit.
That's not my joke. I saw that online. But
man. I just can't wait till they give him a slip and slide, and he's gonna,
That's gonna be a thing, like before shows. It'd be like, Titus, time to rehearse your entrance with this. It's like, well, I gotta rehearse. I never rehearse. Like, trust me, you gotta rehearse. Like Vince wants it, and then they have a slip and slide on the ring.
Yeah, dude.
Filled with baby oil.
I see it.
All the Shield brand baby oil that they have.
I love it.
Man.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this momentous occasion in discussing the greatest Royal Rumble and Marvel's Infinity War.
Yes, as we do when we talk about things that we love, we get very, very hungry.
Yep.
So it is time to cut this off. We appreciate you all for sticking with us, and stay tuned for the Break Knyte Creative on YouTube, as I will be releasing some videos soon on the stuff that I like to put together, and stay tuned for more of the podcast, and stay tuned for at Amberland Studios, at Sean Slade on the Instagram. See all the stuff that he's doing. Keep track of all the stuff he's doing.
Yes,
and
sir.
Commission some work for him, because you want some pretty damn sweet artwork.
You want some shit?
You know to go to.
You want some shit?
Pretty damn sweet apparel to be made from that artwork into real life.
You want some shit?
You come to me. So, peace, love, and chicken grease. Stay creative. We'll see you next time. We out.
Deuces!